Hello everyone and welcome to the 60X Business Show. My name is Kitumaini and together with my guests, we'll have different conversations about business, entrepreneurship and life. This is the show you've been waiting for. Stay tuned. In today's conversation, my guest is an amazing entrepreneur. She's the CEO and founder of Kipepeo Kids, which is a children fashion brand here in Rwanda, focused on creating classy, fun, elegant garments for the kids to make them look beautiful every day. And in the studio today, she's none than Priscilla Uzibuka. Priscilla, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Christian.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the 60X Business Show. So we'll be spinning the wheel, and then randomly we'll select a number, and from there I'll ask you a question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Relax. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Over to you.
All right.
Let's hold the drums and see what's going to be your number, your next lucky number. Let's start with 9. Can you tell us the story behind your brand? Why did you start Kipepeo Kids, and why the focus on kid?
Thank you, Christian. We started Kipepeo in 2016, which was more of out of the need that we saw available. We saw that there was no children brand that focused on kids, a local brand that focused on kids. And also around the fact that we wanted to support women, we wanted to start a brand that we could employ women tailors to work with us to develop the garments and be able to sell and help them make decent income.
Wonderful. So you wanted to create a brand first promoting women and empowering and enabling their livelihoods by creating jobs for them. At the same time, you identify needs to make the kid look elegant, correct?
Yes.
Wow, that is really amazing. And can you tell us, growing up as a kid, did you envision that one day you'll have a kid fashion brand, or you really had completely different dreams back then?
Interesting. No, I've never had as a kid, I never thought I would grow up to have a children clothing brand. I can't remember like one single dream that I had. I think dreams changed as one grows, you know, as a kid or as a teenager. Dreams kept changing, or ambitions and point of admiration, I guess. People you look up to and be like, oh, I want to be like that when I grow up.
Okay. So can you tell us like some of the different dreams you had back then as a kid?
Well, I remember, I think around 7, 8, I was so obsessed with watching the Miss Universe.
Okay.
I could have probably gone for Miss Rwanda.
Okay.
But I really thought it was like nice. I thought the dresses were elegant. I really enjoyed just following the shows. Never thought of myself as a model or going for Miss Universe, but I did enjoy looking at that, and probably that's when my attraction for clothes and fashion came in.
Wonderful. As you heard from Priscilla, when she was a young girl, she was craving to become a Miss Universe one day. She was craving to become a model one day, and watching Miss Universe shows and also getting used to the different tastes of clothes. A little bit of back on our minds signature or interest to create a fashion brand and taste of trying classic clothes starts arising, right?
Right, but I feel like mostly what pushed me to starting Kipepeo later when I grew up was the need to support like someone else create employment for the women, and especially the fact that I'd seen a lady who worked as a tailor, who gained the skill of becoming a tailor, how it really changed her life. So I was inspired by that at a very big, I guess, point in life where I felt like I could try this.
Okay.
Of course, didn't know it would result into a kids brand, but I realized that if I help the women learn a skill, then they need a job.
Yeah.
So realizing they need a job, I'm like, okay, then we will create a kids brand. Because back in 2016, if you remember, that's when the ban of second-hand clothes was coming in. And I was like, here comes an opportunity where middle-class parents, everyday parents will look for clothes that are affordable, yet cool and fashionable for the kids.
Wonderful. Well, I do have some follow-up question later on, but let's spin the wheel for the next round of question. You got 9. Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going to be your next lucky number.
Where is this?
It's between 13 and 14. Can you spin again? Weekends know which number. Let's see and wait. You got 9 already. You spin again. This is becoming interesting.
9 is my lucky number, I guess.
Really? Closer to 9, there is 8. Wonderful. Can you tell us, how did you feel when you received the Queen Young Leaders Awards from Queen Elizabeth? How did you personally felt back then?
Thank you. That's been like 2 years now, and I can still recall the feeling was more of humbling. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I expected myself to be picked, because the application takes more than 9,000, if I remember, applicants across the Commonwealth, which is like 58 countries or more. And to me, that was just a moment of, I wouldn't say shock, but being very humbled and saying, wow, me of all people, I was picked for this. And also a moment of making me realize that no matter how small, you know, your dreams are valid. Like I felt I was a very small business, I was a very small organization. Looking at everyone who was applying and the kind of organizations they were leading, I was like, okay. And I was the only one selected from Rwanda that year. So it was very humbling. On the other side, it was a moment of course, pride to be able to represent my country, and a moment of responsibility, if I may tell you, Christian. Because you're like, okay, now what? You know, what do I do after being selected or being asked? For me, it was more like, okay, I'm standing here not on behalf of myself, but probably my country and even my region. How do I represent it right? Does Kipepeo fit, and how do I make it worth it?
Okay. Are there some opportunities that happen to you and to your business after that that recognition that maybe help you move forward?
Yes, definitely. A number of different opportunities, and one which I take as very important is networking. It was a great opportunity to meet people from all walks of life, people in different parts of the world who are doing different things, not only in the industry that I was, but understanding what is happening around the world and getting connected, knowing anywhere I could land in the world, I know someone.
Wonderful. That's amazing. As you heard from Priscilla, being selected as the young global leader, what's that? Queen Young Leader. It created a lot of opportunities for her, especially networking. And being part of a network of different global shapers and global leaders all over the world, it's really beneficial, especially for entrepreneurs to tap into opportunities and build your business cycle. And we've seen with this pandemic a lot of learnings from small business owners. You personally, what are the learnings that you've acquired during this pandemic running your business that's gonna basically help you move forward, going forward?
Thank you. During this pandemic period, of course, we had a lot of shocking moments, learning moments, things we did not expect or even ever thought would happen to our lives, our everyday lives. So as an entrepreneur, I learned to persevere, to just keep trying, to know that, to have hope that tomorrow things could be better. And also, I learned that you have to plan for the unexpected. You have to plan for the unexpected, and it gave me also time to strategize, to see if anything goes wrong, how do you keep moving in that manner?
Okay, wonderful. There are a lot of learnings, as you've heard from Priscilla. You need to persevere. You need to understand that anything can happen. With this pandemic, there was a lot of learning. And as you've heard from her, some of those lessons will be basically used going forward. Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions. You got 8, 9. What's your next lucky number?
Probably
Priscilla?
10.
13. Wonderful. Can you tell me how does it feel being an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur feels to me more of a roller coaster. You know, there are ups and downs, and your head is spinning, you're panicking, yet you're excited the next day. It gives a lot of responsibility, knowing you're one person who has to make decisions. If it's a bad decision, then it affects your business, it affects your team, and if it's a good decision, well and good. So I feel like, yeah, it's an everyday roller coaster, which is exciting, challenging, and yeah, a stepping stone every day to another level.
Okay. Have you ever personally felt during this journey that this is too much for me, I want to give up, I'm really burning out? And how did you, because it's a challenge, it's a common challenge that at some point in time in this journey entrepreneur, you feel like, actually this is becoming too much, things are not going the way we plan, and you feel like, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right move? Can you tell us about your experience?
Yes, definitely. There are times where things get a bit more challenging than you expect. And entrepreneurs are usually like one-man show. You're the accountant, you're the marketing person, you're everything.
Yeah.
So on those times, you do feel overwhelmed. But I'm thankful that, you know, I have family and friends that understand what I do, that I can call and say, things are stuck, what do you think I should be doing? You know, people who give honest feedback and check on you, like, how are things? I just passed by the shop, you know, I don't see this happening, how is it going? So holding you accountable, and I have really learned to, you know, take time to sit back, breathe in, breathe out, relax, and give time.
Wonderful. I like the fact that you have a support system, people that are there, that you can check on, you, and they can provide to you like honest and constructive feedback, which is very, very important in this journey. I would like to know about your collection and the different brands of clothes that you produce for the kids. Where do you get your inspiration from? Where do you source your inspiration to ensure the kid look elegant, classy, fun? Yeah.
Thank you. I really get my inspiration from the everyday kids, watching children play, watching children attend, you know, events, going for birthdays, or even their everyday walk to school. You get to see a lot around a child, their character, and develop around that to create clothes that fit their mood. Okay.
So there is a combination of many factors, the everyday life of the kid that you interact with, and then from there you get your inspiration, right? Yeah. Amazing. Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions. We got 8, 9, 13. What's going to be your next lucky number?
I don't know what 9 wants from me.
9 wants you. 7. I like the combination. What do you think has contributed to your success within the Rwandan market in the 6 years you've been in business?
For me, I really believe it's the clients that I serve, and I'll just send out a big thank you to anyone who's watching this, who's been my client before, or even future clients, because I feel like what has helped us to grow in the market is client recommendations, and I can say 70% of our clients are returning clients. You know, people who come buy from us the first time, they come back, they send their friends, they tell their colleagues, and that has helped us to grow in the local market.
Okay, and you have an e-commerce functionality to your platform. How much % of the revenue came from door to door, like walk-in customers to your shop versus customers who buy online, and how did the online sales channel contributed to people outside of Rwanda to buy from you?
Yes, especially during this pandemic, we've seen that online shopping, was boosted in Rwanda and also across the world. Especially in the local market, it's more of the people who come to the physical store, while in the global market, our e-commerce, that's when it serves us more. It has really been to us, I can say, a door to the global market. People across the world are able to access our items, our clothes, through the e-commerce platform and able to buy from us from different parts of the world. But I can say in the local market, it's still very much more of a walk-in. People who come in, people who pass by Kigali Heights and walk to our shop, or even those who call, they go online, check something, they like it, then they order. They call you and say, I want this, can you have it delivered? That is still very much more than the e-commerce in Rwanda. But in the rest of the world, it's really the e-commerce that's pushing us.
Okay. So the local market still contributes a lot to your sales revenue compared to the outside market, right?
I could say, 50-50 to some extent, depending on seasons. I can say the rest of the world probably shops more during the summer season than us who shop any time of the year.
Okay, wonderful. That is really amazing. As we've heard from Priscilla, both the domestic markets and the outside market contribute roughly 50-50, which is really amazing. And then they have an e-commerce platform where you can just go and easily make your order, go and check them out. And then they also have a retail shop at Kigali, is correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. So part of the work that you do, you empower women. Can you tell us why women tellers, why empowering them, and why is it important part of your company mission?
Christian, for me, I really believe that if you help a woman, even if it's one single woman, you have impacted at least 10 people. That woman has kids, has relatives, has a household or neighbors. So I work with women because I believe it can create a bigger impact. And supporting a woman is supporting a community, is supporting the next generation, because she'll impact, her kids, and the next generation will also benefit.
Wonderful. I like very, very straight to the point. It's so clear. There is no much I can add on top of that. And being recognized as a young Queen's young leader, and you lead a diverse team of people at your workplace, how would you define leadership?
To me, leadership is more of service. If you ask me for one word that can describe leadership, it's service. If you're able to serve others, then you're able to lead. If you're able to step out and look at other people's good and work towards contributing to their goods, serving them, then you're able to be a leader, I guess. Okay.
As you've heard from Priscilla, leadership is about serving other people, also being a role model where people can follow in your footsteps toward achieving common or bigger goals. And my follow-up question will be, what pushes you every day to go to work and do the work that you do with your team?
What pushes me to wake up every day to go back to Kipepeo, even on the bad days, is really knowing that someone else is depending on me. Someone else is waiting to, get work, to be able to serve and contribute to their families. We have clients who walk into our shop, so you wake up every day saying, I must work because someone else is expecting to find work done.
Amazing. Very, very well elaborated. And we've seen during this pandemic a lot of business being affected in declining, not being able to achieve their sales targets, their supply chain being interrupted and delayed, some of their shipment and delivery taking longer. In your case, how was your business affected? What are the challenges you're facing now, and how are you solving those challenges?
Being in a landlocked country, I guess the challenge is very obvious. Our sourcing has been limited. We've had times where we are unable to get the shipping on time, to get our raw materials on time. The local market raw materials were, prices were hiked, and it became a challenge. You can't buy things double the price and still sell it at the same price. So we've had that challenge, and now we're really looking at all the possible ways to source locally, so that if anything ever happens, you have local sources.
Okay. How does getting your raw materials locally compared to exporting from outside, does that affect your pricing strategy? Do you still price the same? Or can you tell us more about the calculation behind, if it affects your pricing, or you still keep the same price?
We still maintain the same price. I mean, looking at how the economy has been affected, we would not hike or change our prices at any point, but we look at ways to minimize costs in different areas of business so that we stay profitable.
Oh, that's so smart of you, because outsourcing locally, I'm sure the production cost is going to be a little bit higher. Then that basically going to affect your margin, and then it's a good strategy to reduce your fixed cost so that you can cover. Okay, that's really amazing. For some entrepreneurs, as you've heard from Priscilla, she's sharing some good tips. If you're getting your supplies locally, you need to be very, very mindful about your production costs, because if you need to understand that your variable cost is going to be a little bit higher, and that's going to affect your profit margin, then you need to be on top of your fixed costs to make sure that you minimize your cost as much as you can to make profits, which is very, very important for entrepreneurs to understand all that. Priscilla, I would like to know, what is the long-term plan of the business? Where do you want to see yourself the next coming 5, 15 years? Where do you want to position Kipepeo brand?
That's a very good and challenging question. The long-term plan of Kipepeo is to continue growing. I believe that whether you crawl, you jump, you run, you have to keep moving. So Kipepeo has to keep moving. We have to keep striving to be the best version of what we want to deliver in the market.
Okay, so you still want to go and push yourself harder. How would you feel if in the next coming 15 or 10 years, there is a newspaper, maybe in Zambia or Ghana, saying there is Kipepeo kid that penetrated the Zambian market or the Ethiopian market? How would that make you feel?
Excited, obviously. That's truly where we would want to be. We would want to be accessible across Africa. And of course, we start as a Rwandan brand and will forever be a Rwandan brand, but being able to access the global market, the continent market. I mean, now we have the Africa continental free trade coming up as, a key major opportunity for businesses like myself and others to, penetrate the rest of Africa. And that's where we want to see ourselves growing step by step.
Okay, that's amazing. So Africa, stay tuned. Kipepeo is coming. They have good plans for you to make the kid looks classy, fun, and elegant. And talking about kids, why do you think it's important for kids to be smart every day? Because you make dresses for kids.
I believe dressing up well or looking good is a sign of self-respect. If you respect yourself, you clean up, you look good, and it's very important to start them young, to make children understand that they have to look decent, they have to look nice, and they'll grow up to have that as part of their own value and be responsible for their own self-respect.
Wonderful. Dressing well, even from a younger age, for kids, it's very, very important. It's self-respect. It's very, very important. That's why Kipepeo is there to help kids look elegant. Parents, make sure you go and check it out to take your kids to the next level in their dressing codes. And my follow-up question, I would like to know, who inspired you to venture into the business world? Do you have someone who inspired you?
Yes, definitely. I could think of very many people who in business who got in business way before me, many years or decades even, that are an inspiration. But to start with, I would say my own mother, watching her do business from, I think she's the first person I ever saw doing business as a child. And growing up, she's been, inspiring me, but also motivating me and encouraging me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Shout out to Priscilla's mother, who inspired her to venture into the business world. And talking about inspirations, for young girls out there watching you now, who like to venture into the business world and become their own boss ladies one day, what advice would you give to them?
I would say, actually, being a boss lady, as you say it, is not. I wouldn't call it as the end goal, but rather the end goal be doing whatever you want to do in life and make impact, being able to contribute to someone else's well-being, and supporting your community in any way, in any work that you do, you can still be able to contribute to that. And also telling the young girls maybe who are still in school that it doesn't matter whatever career that you want to achieve, there are so many opportunities out there. It just needs you to step out of your comfort zone or even fear. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of sounds inside us saying maybe you're not good enough or you can't do this. Try to shut those down and face it and try it, because if you don't try, you'll never know what you can achieve. And also just I feel like putting yourself out there, you attract opportunities as well.
Wonderful. That is well painted and well elaborated. If you could start over in business, if you could start over as an entrepreneur, what business would you start and why?
Nice one. I think I would still do kids. I would find anything else related to kids. I would go into maybe kids food, okay. Supplying different kids food, be it for toddlers or older kids. They need nutritious food. I feel like a children's market is an already existing and always existing market.
Wonderful. So Priscilla will still go after the business that will help solve the kid needs, because there is still opportunities into that area. And let me wrap up this conversation with my last question. What are top 3 learnings you've acquired through along your business journey that you had no clue back then when you started?
To think of lessons, there would be so many, but I would say the very first one would be to keep going, even when the journey gets a bit tough or challenging, to just keep pushing. The second one would be taking time to sit back, rest, refuel, and try again. Mm-hmm. And a third would be looking out your business from an outside view, because when you're an entrepreneur or when you're working in something every day, you don't see it from the outside. So being able to step out of that box and look it from afar, you're able to probably notice things that you wouldn't do when you're inside.
Wonderful. Thinking outside of the box, step outside to have a broad view. And in the business world, we call it, when you're able to reach that stage, you're able to work on your business instead of working in your business. So we are coming to the end of this conversation, and my guest was Priscilla Uzibuka, and she's the CEO and founder of Kipepeo Kids. Thanks a lot for making it to the show.
Thank you, Christian.
Wonderful. The conversation continues on social media using the hashtag 60xbusiness. Remember to tag me. My handle is @Kitumaini. Till next time, remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, and I see you down the road.